Welcome back to another episode of Spawn Trap's Hit Pause MCU, the Marvel Cinematic Multiverse podcast that is a friend from work. I am back, joined by Jordan.
What's going on, guys?
Yeah, we're recording. I think this is probably the shortest gap we've had in a while in between our podcasts, just because we haven't been able to talk about a lot of the stuff that we've wanted to talk about. So I'm gonna preface this by giving you kind of show notes of what we're gonna be doing today. So first of all, there's a lot of stuff, and I know this is an MCU, but there's a lot of Sony movie announcements that we just never got through. And I don't think a lot of people are talking about. So this a lot of stuff you might just be hearing for the first time on this podcast. Um, but it is kind of involved with the MCU. Maybe at least maybe some of them might be. So I think it's worth talking about. And there's still Marvel characters at the end of the day. There's San Diego Comic Con just happened. We're going to be talking about a lot of the announcements that happened from San Diego Comic Con because there is a lot. For the next few phases of Marvel, we know a lot of the movies and stuff that's being introduced, and we're gonna have a Miss Marvel discussion. I will preface by saying Jordan has not watched all of Miss Marvel, so we're not gonna be talking about the entire series. But I think even that's worth talking about. That's an important step. But this is a spoiler podcast. So if you haven't watched any of this stuff, you don't want to be spoiled, especially for the stuff that was announced for San Diego Comic Con. That's fine. We understand. I will be timestamping stuff down below. This is a YouTube exclusive podcast for now. So if you're watching this on YouTube, there will be timestamps down below if you want to skip to something. I want to start off because I didn't ask you about this actually. You just watched not just watched. You watched Thor Love and Thunder in theaters, right? I still haven't
Yeah.
seen it. So I want to get your initial thoughts on Thor Love and Thunder.
Um, my initial thoughts on Thor: Love and Thunder. I thought it was going to be my favorite movie that came out this summer. I will say that it's not.
Mhm.
I still enjoyed it. I think it's fun. Um, I think it's definitely a lot more for kids.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think it's like definitely more for kids and I feel like almost as if um, what's his name? Taki Waititi.
Taika Waititi, yeah.
Yeah, OTT. Okay, yeah. So I feel like him and Chris Hemsworth. I feel like almost the both of them decided to make this movie for their children. Like that's how I feel about this
Hmm.
movie. I feel like Thor was like, I want to watch this movie with my kids, so I'm gonna make it more geared towards them, and that's what it feels like to me. Um, there's a lot of humorous moments in it.
Mhm.
The only two things I have that I don't really why it's not one of my top even my top 10 or so MCU movies is it's very cheesy. It
Mhm.
is very cheesy. They use a lot of jokes and recycle them a lot, and it's so they're like constantly bringing out the same jokes throughout the movie, which sometimes like once or twice is fine, but once you do it like three or four times, it becomes overkill. And I think it became kind of cheesy, and the editing doesn't feel fluent to me. It feels like very pieced and like spliced together, like someone tried to like it's still a 2 hour movie, I believe, but it feels like it's almost like a 3 hour movie that they tried to cut down
Condense.
and make it faster.
Yeah. It's a shame because
So
it looked very, from the
yeah,
trailers, it looked very similar in tone to Ragnarok, which I would say is one of the best Marvel movies
yeah, because I
that's out
love
there.
Ragnarok. I definitely love Ragnarok
Yeah.
more, and I thought also with there is obviously the appearance of the Guardians of the Galaxy in it.
Yeah.
Um, I thought it was going to be sort of more of like a little bit of Guardians of the Galaxy, a little bit of Thor humor, a little bit of mix and match. But to me, overall, I just felt it was mostly just kind of cheesy. Like it wasn't I don't know, it wasn't fantastic in my opinion.
What'd you think
That's
of
yeah.
Gore the God Butcher?
I think Christian Bale did a good job as the villain. The villain himself is cool and his powers and stuff is cool, but he like the creatures that you fight in the movie that Thor fights in the movie aren't like they're not that great. Like, you know, we're used to seeing aliens dying or robots dying or stuff like that.
Yeah.
The things that Gore has helping him out the fight, like I don't feel like it's that great. There's some visually stuff in the movie that's really good.
Mm-hmm.
I won't tell you. I can't really because I don't want to spoil it for you. So, like I could spoil the podcast, like spoil their podcast, but I can't. I don't want to spoil something for you. So there is something in the movie where I feel like is very, very, very low budget, and it almost ruins, like to me, it almost ruins the movie because I'm just like, I'm like, that is like the worst CGI I've seen, and like it's like I'm like, it looks like something that was not even. I'm like, Iron Man 1 stuff looks better than something in Thor, and I just thought it was kind of silly.
Wow.
It's still good. I still liked it. I just I would still say that I enjoyed Doctor Strange more, which Thor is to me is more like a favorable character to me.
Mm.
And I still like Doctor Strange more.
Do you is Thor's ass pixelated in the movie?
No, you see his butt in the movie for sure. So I mean, that was why I went. So at least you know, it was almost in the top 10 for me there. But
I think
I think that's the only thing me and my girlfriend liked. We're like, we saw Chris's butt. That was a good time. But
what about I think the most important thing was what'd you think of Jane Foster as Thor?
Jane Foster becoming the mighty Thor was pretty cool. It felt weird to bring, like, you know how Marvel has always thought ahead of stuff they're gonna do, because her and Thor have been broken up for all these years. For her to just randomly come back and be part of the movies again sort of felt forced. And they do like a little bit of a side story really quickly that's narrated by Korg that kind of brings her back into the story. So it feels sort of rushed, I would say. I'm like, if you like it, then you'll enjoy it. If you're like me and you're like, that feels a little forced, then it kind of takes something away from the movie for me, because I'm just being very critical of it.
Yeah.
But I did enjoy her as Thor. I like her armor a lot. Thor, I don't know if you've seen the trailer at all. Thor's armor looks really cool.
Well, he has like
the
3 or
colors and
4
stuff.
different outfits in the trailer.
Right, one of them, the one that they use that he's in for most of the movie.
Is it the blue one?
Yeah, it's the blue one.
Blue
It's
and gold, yeah.
almost too colorful, and it almost looks like it's made of plastic to me. So like, I don't really like it.
Shiny.
It's very shiny, and I think they did that because Gore, there's a section of the galaxy they go to where it becomes black and white because there's no light in this part of the galaxy.
Yeah.
So Thor's armor becomes black and white in parts.
Yeah.
And I thought that was cool. Like, it's visually nice. His armor just did look a little too almost cartoony to me.
Right.
And his helmet looks silly. His helmet, like the wings, instead of like having the cool Valkyrie wings like upwards or whatever, they almost come out like giant eyebrows in like I don't know. It looks ridiculous.
That's what.
But
there's a moment in the trailer. I think it's actually coming up here. I'll freeze frame it so we can show the helmet.
But Jane Foster's helmet looks really cool. Her armor looks really cool. Yeah, I think if that's what I'm seeing. Yeah, see, that almost looks too silly to me. It's too much. Like, I don't. It's tut much. And I almost, maybe I'm just recalling it worse, but I feel like it looks worse in the movie than that trailer right there. But
oh yeah,
it just looks a little silly. It looks like I don't know. It looks like wings. Like, it looks like a different. It looks.
No, I agree.
It's too much. Like, it doesn't need to be that much detail. Hers looks really cool.
Thor's helmet typically has wings. I mean, we don't see him in a helmet for most of the MCU. They decided. I think when I from what I recall from like interviews and stuff back then for that first movie, I believe the actors had issues with the helmets. So they had that initial scene where they were like they were walking down the thing in their helmets. Then they immediately took it off, and you never seen them wear the helmets ever again in the entire MCU. Yeah. So it's surprising they put Thor in a helmet, and a lot of the times the MCU actors, like even Spider-Man, Where in the comics you see these, these characters are dressed head to toe in like comic book outfits and masks and helmets and stuff like that because they pop out on the page. They're easy to identify the characters and stuff like that. Whereas when you translate that to movies, you're paying for the actor and you're marketing the movie for this actor. You want to have the face time for the actor. I think that's one of the big reasons why Christian Bale, they didn't have the comic book look for Gore the God Butcher in the movies. They just kind of painted over him instead. Although there's other reasons as well, which I have heard them talk about in the interview, where they just didn't think that character translated well for the movie, the way that he dressed and looked. I guess he looked too much like Voldemort in CGI. So
I'd say something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
He looked. His performance was really good, and he was really like scary. But I don't think he looked that cool. Like I don't think he was like a cool villain. Like he didn't give me like I wasn't like after watching Thanos and Ultron and being like, oh my god, I love these villains, or like Loki, stuff like that. Like seeing Gore, I was just like, I mean, he's like,
I think he's like
okay.
Hela. Like I haven't seen the movie yet, so I don't know how it compares.
Hela was
but
great.
Hela, I would say, is like one of the best villains in the MCU.
Yeah, I love her, and I like when they do the stuff where she does her thing and her helmet comes on. Like I like when they do you have a balance of helmets and not helmets, whatever. But to your initial question with Jane, yeah, I think she was really cool. I liked her character. I liked her outfit was really cool. Did you watch the trailer for Thor?
For Thor? Yeah, I've watched
Did you
trailers,
see one of the new things that Mjolnir can do, or no?
No. Oh wait, where it splits out like in pieces? Yeah, I seen that.
Yeah, so that amazing. Like, and you know what? I think the best part of Thor: Love and Thunder is the ending, because it has a really cool ending where that leaves Thor kind of almost finding like a sense of purpose. So that I enjoy for Thor himself's character. But yeah, Mjolnir, dude, like there's a scene where she throws her hammer, flies through enemies, taking them out, and then just shatters. And then all the little magical Mjolnir metal pieces just penetrate people, just like killing them. And then she pulls back, like when she calls it back, the handle comes back to her hand, and then all the pieces reform the hammer. Oh my god, amazing! Like I had almost like when Cap picked up the hammer for the first time vibes. Like it was not quite, but I was like, oh my god, Mjolnir, I miss you, buddy. And also that's pretty fucking sweet. So it looks really cool.
Can you think of this is just a fun question. Can you think of all the characters in the MCU that have lifted Mjolnir so far?
All of the ones?
Yeah.
So if I go from, I know Odin can.
Probably.
Thor.
I don't think we've seen him. No, he has lifted a hammer. Yeah. So Odin
lifts it up when he throws it to Earth, and then Thor goes it. So Odin. Thor. Obviously. Hela, if you want to count her holding it, because technically she used to wield it and then she broke it. Captain America. Vision. I guess Jane now, technically.
Jane, yeah.
There's somebody new that holds it in.
That's a spoiler for
movie.
me.
Yeah.
I can imagine who it is, though.
Yeah. So that's what we got, 7. Trying to remember anybody else who has held it. I
think that's all of them. But there is one character that I never see anybody talking about that has not lifted the hammer in the movies, but
okay,
go.
Go. Finish what you're saying, but I want to guess before you give it away.
No, guess.
If I was gonna guess, I would go. I bet if Captain can lift it, I bet Captain Carter could also lift Mjolnir. If I had to guess.
That's a good question.
She's in What Ifs and Doctor Strange, so a part of me thinks that she would be able to lift it if given the opportunity, but we haven't seen that yet.
Do you remember much about Thor: The Dark World?
It's probably the one I watched the least, but yeah, okay.
Yeah, so I think for most people, I think that's why this is overlooked. Whenever I do a rewatch, which isn't very often for that movie, but I always get surprised. There's one scene, so they're fighting the Dark Elves, where Loki's doing his magic to like trick everybody, where he thinks he cuts like Thor's arm off and everything.
Yeah.
Thor whips the hammer at the dark elf that's like all buffed up,
Yeah.
who had like the grenade that he snuck into the prison and everything. The
Right.
hammer's flying at him, and he swings it away. He
Really?
just hits it, and it flies away like because it was coming right at him. He just swings it away, and it deflects.
Huh.
Yeah,
I'll have to watch that.
nobody
I'll
ever
have to watch
talks
that one
about
again.
that.
If there was somebody I had to bet that I think is worthy enough to pick up the hammer, I would say I think Heimdall should be worthy enough to pick up Thor's hammer. He's been nothing but good like the entire series, and I think he would be
Mhm.
somebody who would eventually, in need, would be worthy of picking up the hammer. I don't know if it's ever been in the comic books or anything, but I love Heimdall because I love uh, Idris Elba too much. But I think he would. I think he could lift the hammer if I had a guess.
I am not aware of. I'm not a big Thor reader, so I'm not aware of any time that where Heimdall
Yeah,
would have. But I can see that.
yeah.
Um,
Heimdall and Captain Carter would be two I would also guess. So
mhm. We are going to move over to some stuff that we haven't been able to talk about yet, but I'm excited to go over. Now, first of all, this was a long time ago, but the Spider Verse movies. Now, these are animated movies from Sony. They're not technically part of the MCU. They do have their own multiverse story in those
yeah,
movies. So a lot of people have theories. I think in the, sort of the same vein as What If, like if What If's gonna have some sort of overarching story with the movies and everything. So far, we haven't really seen that. We've seen quite sort of like references and like imagery that's the similar with What If, but we haven't really seen that sort of crossover in the same way that they were promising. Um, but these are the first Spider Verse movie. Very good movie. Highly recommend it. I think it's probably the best Spider Man movie out there. Um, but we've got some information for the sequel. I don't remember what the new date is because it's been a while since they made that announcement. But we do know a villain. Um, there is that little teaser that we had. I don't know if you saw the teaser with Oscar Isaacs playing one of the Spider-Man, and they were like fighting. He was fighting with Miles Morales.
no, I
No,
didn't see that. What
I
is
I got
so?
shared that
Sorry, this is for the next Spider Verse.
next Spider-Verse. Yeah,
Okay, all
there's a
right.
there's a teaser for
Sorry,
it. I'll share it with
I
you at
was
some point.
I was thinking Spider Verse,
Hmm.
or I heard you say Spider Verse, but I was
Yeah.
thinking the last Tom Holland movie, the No Way
Oh
Home,
no no.
because it has multiverse spiders in it. So I was thinking
Yes
that.
yes. Well,
Okay, so the
Spider-Verse was
anime,
first for the multiverse
the,
Spider-Man.
right. The multi, yeah. So we got Miles Morales, Spider Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, love that movie.
The Spider-Verse in the comics feature like some of my favorite Spider-Man villains, which are very overlooked villains. Nobody cares about them, so I understand why they're never in any movies or animated stuff because I'm like the only one who cares about these characters. But they're a family of multiverse traveling vampires that kill spider totems. Like they go across the multiverse and just kill different versions of Spider-Man. That's how they feed and get their energy. Um,
These are vampires that feed on
yeah,
people with spider
they
abilities.
feed on animal totems, but they specifically go after spiders.
Huh.
Yeah.
What's the
Uh,
name of this? What's the name of this group?
the Inheritors.
The Inheritors.
Yeah.
Interesting to talk about.
But I don't think we're ever gonna see them on screen, which is a shame. I was hoping like maybe so the next Spider Verse movie, they're gonna be traveling the Spider Verse, so maybe we'll see that as a villain. No, instead they went with like a D-list villain from Spider Man called the Spot, which is pictured on the screen here. Um, and
This is the next. This is the next villain
this is
for
the
the next
next
movie.
villain for Spider-Man. And
I'm ready to
I
list this
thought when
down.
they made that announcement, I was like, "You're kidding me! That is hilarious!" Because I would have never thought that that would be the case. But the more I think about it, I think this character makes sense. His abilities is he can create like interdimensional portals and stuff, and
Okay.
so it makes sense for this character to be like part of the Spider Verse. He was never in any of the Spider Verse comics that I'm aware of, and he's like whenever he shows up in the comics, he's a very D-list villain. He shows up for like a few panels as like a joke.
Yeah.
So it's like this is just a really funny villain choice. Um, but I like it. I think it makes sense. I think it's funny to think about. I think it'll be a cool villain for an animated movie.
Hmm. The mean, Inheritor sounds amazing though. That
Mhm.
sounds way cooler. I'm way more interested in that.
I will
Especially if we,
I'll
especially
lend.
if we saw him eat a
Mhm.
couple. If we saw her eat a couple like Spider verse characters, like other Spider-Men in the other
Yeah.
worlds, that'd be pretty like because then it would be like an act like a crazy threat.
I can lend you. I'm not sure if I have the original Amazing Spider-Man comic where they showed up
Right.
first. I think I might, or I might have like a spin-off character that appeared after that one. Um, but I have the Spider-Verse comic where they show back up. You don't really need a lot of that backstory from the Amazing Spider-Man comics where they first showed up to read Spider-Verse.
Right.
Um, Spider-Verse is just a whole bunch of backstory, just like just like you are not gonna understand because it's marketed as every Spider-Man ever that's ever existed across comics, animation, TV, video games, commercials, newspapers, like
Yeah.
everything. So you're gonna see like a whole bunch of Spider-Man that you've never seen before that you don't know the context of just on the page. But it is a fun read. Like any sort of whatever your level of fandom for Spider-Man is, I think everybody would enjoy something out of the book, so I definitely do recommend it. But the movie's great.
I would. I'll borrow. Maybe I'll borrow that one after you because I got your brother lent me Venom, and then you lent me The Guardian. So I got two. I got
Mm.
two to watch right now. So a read.
Interesting thing about the Guardians, and we both played the game. There was a reference to a character called Bug. I don't know if you remember. Like Mantis mentions it.
I
She's
think
like, "Oh
so.
yeah, you don't meet him in this universe or in this timeline or whatever."
Uh,
Um,
I don't remember it as well. There was a whole bunch of characters that they referenced. If you
yeah,
looked on that computer, you saw a bunch of villains on there, and so I was kind of
yeah.
going through all those characters.
I
Or
know. I know. She said it out loud at one point. They're like, "Who the hell's Bug?" And
okay,
she's like, "Oh right, you haven't met him in this timeline." Um,
okay,
but is a character from the Guardians comic books that I like, and I was like expecting him to show up in one of the movies at some point. We got a reveal from James Gunn back in January, I think. I didn't realize this until now. Marvel doesn't own the movie rights to Bug. I guess Hasbro does.
huh?
So there's some sort of like crossover comic, I think, where he first appeared. Same with a couple other characters, but
Yeah,
James Gunn has apparently tried to get Bug into each one of the movies, including the newest one that's coming out, but has not been successful.
yeah.
So like, I guess Hasbro doesn't want to play ball with Marvel and have Bug in the movies. So it's interesting. We could have had Bug in the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie.
Seems like you should, since they're not really using them for anything. Maybe just hey, you can use them,
the
but give us
rights
some
are
pro.
rights are tricky like that. Like we haven't seen another solo Hulk movie because of rights issues with Universal. We haven't seen a Namor movie because of issues with Paramount. I think it was Paramount. Although I think that's been resolved now.
Well,
Um,
this is Paramount, like Paramount Plus, right? Like their streaming service.
well, the big
Yeah,
like
but the
studio,
company.
yeah.
Yeah, don't let them take anything. After I watched, I love Halo, and they ruined Halo. Jesus Christ, this doesn't even make Halo doesn't even make sense. It's like a hard watch, and it's my favorite video game. Oh
um,
my god.
I think we've also haven't seen Man Thing because of issues with Lionsgate. Although I think that might be resolved as well. And we have had several references to Man Thing in the MCU. You don't know. I'm guessing you don't know who Man Thing is. Yeah. So you probably
Well,
wouldn't have caught any of the references to Man Thing in the MCU ever.
no, I don't think so.
No. It's been referenced in Agents of Shield, Thor Ragnarok, and just off the top of my head, and uh, his
I
girlfriend
didn't.
from the comics was in Iron Man 3.
I didn't watch Agents of Shield, and I watched Ragnarok 100 times. And I don't remember anything towards Man Thing.
Yeah,
Who references him?
he's one of the faces on the
Let's
Grandmaster's tower.
yeah, match. Okay, gotcha.
Um,
What's it? What are his powers?
he looks like a giant swamp monster, and he has some sort of magical powers. I'm not really that familiar with him.
Okay.
I most know The thing I most know about Man Thing is he was featured on a comic book called Giant Sized Man Thing.
Yeah. Are
Anyways,
you question for you? Are you gonna go back through Guardians of the Galaxy again for a second playthrough?
probably.
Probably. If you're streaming it, let me know the next time you get to nowhere, because I can show you where to go to get a
Oh, I
free.
already did it.
Oh, you did that? You got the
Yeah,
free coupon to go to.
yeah, I was looking for all the costumes, so I had to look it up, and I'm like, oh, that's how I.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. There's some references in that game. Like there's some other like things in it. Like I think
Mm,
they had like Thor frog in there and stuff. Like there's
mm.
some cool stuff in it.
Throg,
Was it Throg?
Throg, yeah.
Throg. That's funny.
Me and Matt have had an argument about whether Throg was in Loki. And I said it was, and he said no, that wasn't Throg. And
But there was a frog that looked like Thor in it, and
yeah,
I would
but
say that's
he's like,
Throg.
no, that's Thor as a frog, and I'm like, my argument was the creators, like everybody who worked on the show and the
Yeah.
credits and everything, say
Yeah.
Throg. That's the MCU's version of Throg is Thor as a frog.
Yeah.
So, yep. So, he's pointing out like a reference on the container that the frog was in. Like, oh, it's referencing this comic which was not which was Thor, wasn't Frog or something. I'm like, that doesn't matter. It's a reference. But Matt disagreed with me.
Who is that? Is that Man Thing on the screen right now?
No.
Oh,
Do you want me to pull up Man Thing?
sure. Who's that guy on the screen though?
That's Aaron Taylor Johnson, featured in Kick-Ass and Avengers: Age of Ultron.
Well, I understand. I don't understand who the actor is. I know it was Quicksilver and all those other movies. Who is he playing? Is he something you're gonna let us know about right now?
Yeah, that's hang on, I'm looking up Giant Size Man Thing. I
You better be careful where you search that, bro.
Yeah.
Giant sized man thing. You're gonna get some bad
I was
results
listening
there,
to
man.
that. Yeah. So here's the here's Giant Size Man Thing. So this is the one on the left.
Oh, that's so funny. Yeah, I don't even know what the hell I'm looking at.
It's
It's like a werewolf looking creature almost.
yeah, it's like a swamp creature fighting a mud creature. Weird.
Giant sized man thing. Wow, whoever wrote that book and got away with that
I don't
is
think
amazing.
I don't think they thought about it because Marvel has like a giant size thing that they do like a big comic book for.
Come on, no, come on.
They
That's
use the
amazing.
same name, but they wanted to feature this character because the character is getting popular or something or whatever, and so they
Yeah,
use the same name, not thinking that there's like a double meaning there.
that's so funny.
Yeah.
Like that's amazing. Like I like the guy who's like, no, it's fine. Release it. Yeah, just like hot smirking at it. That's amazing.
So this is Aaron Taylor Johnson's playing Kraven the Hunter. We got some news about Kraven the Hunter, but it's still kind of kept in mystery, sort of like Morbius. So I'm very concerned because like they're saying things. It's like,
Sony.
Yeah. So I can't. I'm trying to find a link, but he was basically saying that. So I don't know if you know about Kraven the Hunter in the comics or animation or anything, video games.
No, I don't know about him, but he looks cool. Is he a villain? Is a villain?
He's a villain, yeah. I'm
Yeah.
guessing Kraven's going to be in the next Spider-Man game. But he's a character that just likes hunting things, and he's looking for like a big challenge or whatever. He sees Spider-Man as a thing, as a person that he can hunt, but not as a person. He's like, oh, you're a spider, you're like an animal I need to hunt or whatever.
Yeah.
So he's a very big character in the comics.
So it's gonna be part of the Sony's thing, not the MCU, right?
Right.
Because they're gonna have to make that different because we've already used Quicksilver, so we're just gonna pretend that there's two people in this universe that look exactly alike. But
well, yeah, but we've seen that a lot. For me, I never get caught up on actors, like different actors playing the same role or one actor playing multiple roles, because we've seen it countless times in the MCU, where a lot of people don't think about it. And it's typically a lot of smaller characters or characters that haven't had a lot of screen time, and Marvel wants to use the actor for a role because I really like the actor.
I don't think we've seen it a lot. Like we've seen
We've seen it
Captain
a lot.
America and as the
I can,
Human
I can,
Torch, but we didn't.
I will create a list for you for next time
Okay.
because I created a Twitter thread of examples,
Uh,
and I could probably find some more, but there's been a lot of cases.
who I would like to see again is the villain from Thor, the first, or not Thor, the first Doctor Strange.
Mortal
Uh,
or no,
no,
Caecilius?
Caecilius. I'd
Yeah,
love to see that. I love that actor, and I'd love to see him as like a
in a different role.
bigger, yeah, bigger,
Yeah,
different role. Either they're a good guy or a even bigger villain. I think it'd be cool because he's so good. Like he's awesome.
so I've always felt, this might just be me, and I've kind of come down from this thought a little bit since Chadwick Boseman and Robert Downey Jr. and stuff, how they've handled those actors since. But from the beginning, I've always felt the characters matter more to Marvel than the actors. So like any actor, like if they really wanted to bring Iron Man back and Robert Downey Jr. was not on board, they could recast. Like I don't see a huge issue with them wanting to do that. And
Yeah.
like he looks different. Yes, he's playing different characters playing a role. Like I said, I've sort of come down from that feeling with how they've handled Chadwick Boseman because I was surprised. I thought for sure they were going to recast Chadwick Boseman, but I was kind of shocked that they um didn't. But I have a theory that that's a ultimatum from the director
Yeah.
because they probably wanted to keep the director, and the director probably said, "No, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it if we're recasting."
Yeah.
Because
I
I feel like that's the thing that most makes sense.
I wouldn't mind seeing Iron Man again, but I don't really want it to be Iron Man. Like it'd be cool to still have all of the Tony Stark stuff,
Hmm.
but if you went a different direction, like maybe Pepper Potts. Like I think doesn't Pepper Potts have like a nephew and his name's like Iron Lad or something, or like something like that. I don't know.
There
Like
is an Iron Lad. That's not exactly the story.
so, like yeah, if you if
I
you
don't
did
want to say anything in regards to a new Iron Man because that will
yeah.
spoil things that are coming
Okay,
up.
so that would be cool. I would love to do that. I also volunteer to be Iron Lad or whatever because that sounds sweet. I
You're
want to fly around in a suit. Um,
gonna audition.
yeah, I'll audition for Iron Lad. Oh, that sounds so much fun. I also would like to see like even a female do it though. Like I would take if Pepper Potts decided to lead the way. I doubt she would considering she has a child. But I know we have Iron Heart. We've heard stuff about that, so I don't really know the
Mhm.
story of her. Only kind of. It'd be cool to see her come back, or even just somebody who's at least related to Tony Stark take up the mantle if they came out with that. So like, let's just put Happy in an Iron Man suit. I'll be ecstatic.
I think you're gonna be excited about some stuff that's coming out. That's all I'll say.
Yeah.
But yeah, Aaron Taylor Johnson was in an interview talking about Kraven, and he was saying that Kraven in this universe is an animal lover, which a lot of people are confused by. They're like he's a hunter,
Yeah.
and like he's a conservationist and stuff like that in this universe. A lot
Right.
of people are freaking out, saying like, "Oh my God, Sony's like changing the core of what Kraven the Hunter is." And then he's like, maybe I should have clarified, and then didn't clarify at all.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I'm a little bit concerned about where this movie is going. I didn't read into that comment as much as everybody else is. So
Mm.
I think it's fine that you're calling Craven an animal lover. I mean I feel like there are some hunters out there that would say that they're animal lovers too. I
Yeah, you could be an
I don't
animal lover and still be a hunter. You could be
yeah.
the kind of one who maybe just hunts like the more like you hunt more predators so that more prey can repopulate,
Yeah.
and then the predators can have more food. And, there's ways you could twist it to make the hunter look like the good guy. So you can make him look like an animal lover because he's only hunting like the biggest game.
Hmm.
So that weaker game can kind of come back and repopulate, so that the other bigger game has more food or whatever. So there's things you could do.
I've always felt that Craven would make a really good movie villain. So I'm
Craven
hoping
with a K or the C?
with a K.
Okay, Craven the Hunter.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So I'm holding a hope for this one. I'm not completely lost on the Sony universe as much as a lot of people are. because
Yeah.
we thought Morbius was okay, and we didn't hate Venom. We hated Venom Let There Be Carnage, but that's
Oh yeah.
like one movie that we can forget about, and we're fine with the rest of the Sony universe so
Carnage
far.
looks so cool, but the movie was just so bad.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm holding out hope. We'll see where this leads. I don't think we're gonna be like out of the woods with Sony Marvel characters anytime soon. I think they're very much still pursuing this. But I feel
Yeah.
like they're realizing at this point, because Morbius bombed twice because they tried to re-release it in theaters. So I feel like they must realize now, because before the Marvel deal, they were they were underperforming for Spider-Man movies, for the Amazing Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Then the rise, like they saw success with Marvel. Now Morbius happened. I think Venom is their success. I think that's where they let it go to their head. And because despite what we think, Venom is very popular worldwide. So they just figured Morbius would be the same no matter what. And
Yeah.
I think if following Morbius, because there is a Venom 3 in the works, that's one of the notes here. The script is finished.
Yeah.
Um, but this movie is going to come out first. So if this fails after Morbius failed, I think they'll realize we need Marvel, and they'll need to like work together more, because otherwise they're like, this is costing us money.
It sucks because Kraven the Hunter looks like I don't really know anything about him, but I'm already intrigued. But that would suck for it to. It's like a bittersweet. I kind of want it to fail to see if we can push the boat back towards the MCU.
Well,
But I
I'm fine.
also like don't
I
want
just
it to.
want them. I don't care if they're back in the MCU, because like I said, I'm interested in the direction that Sony is going, which I know I'm in the minority here, but I feel like Spider-Man has like such a huge universe of characters that they can pull from, and make this thing. Again, my thing with Spider-Man, it sucks that it's a made for TV character for live action, but it's the popularity of a character that needs to be in the movies. So
Yeah.
when you have the rights to that character and you want to use all these characters, Marvel has their plates full. They can't introduce all these Spider-Man characters. So it's like having another studio having to deal with it. I'm fine with, as long as they're good. And so far
Yeah.
they've been okay. So, but as long as they're good. So if Sony's like, "Hey, Marvel, can we need to collaborate more?" but we want to
Yeah.
still handle the Spider-Man universe, I'm fine with that personally, but I think Aaron Taylor Johnson is going to make a great Kraven. I'm just saying that.
Yeah.
I
No,
thought
he
Jared
looks really
Leto
cool.
was a good Morbius. So
Yeah, I don't like Jared Leto, and I still thought he did a really good job.
mhm. We got an image from Madam Web. I don't know if you know who Madam Web is.
She's the one in the red suit, right? Like I've seen her before. I don't know much about her,
There's a
but
couple versions of the character. But yeah,
okay.
the character typically wears red.
I think she
There's
has a red suit with like the white spider on the front of it, or is it black? It seems like
I think it might change depending on the variation of the character, but
okay.
it's typically been a red costume.
Does she have red hair flowing out, and but her face is covered? I think I've seen at least a comic book version of her and I've
Maybe
heard about it,
there's
but
one with red hair, who
yeah,
used to be a Spider Woman, and she went by several different names. She ends up getting blind and becomes Madam Web. And then there's the original version of it, which is an old woman who's also blind. But they're sort of like, I don't want to spoil too much about the character, but
yeah,
they're sort of like clairvoyant and all this stuff. Um, but there's a huge list. There's like a huge casting list now. Like we're starting to see like who's in the movie, but no actual character announcements. We don't know like what characters are going to be in the movie. We do know where it's set though, because it looks like early 2000s based on this Beyonce poster. So, so that seems like the setting. I don't know why. I can't see a reason why they would have to go back in time for this movie, or like it needs to be placed earlier.
yeah.
I have maybe some theories. Maybe they're like showing like the original Madam Web and then her successor in modern day,
Yeah.
or this is the era of the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies.
Hmm.
So are we visiting those movies? Is that where this is set?
Hmm. Yeah. I don't know. I actually who's Sam Raimi again? Which ones his? Which ones were his Spider Mans? Are
The
his
original three.
the original three?
The
Okay.
original three.
Right. Yeah.
He's the one who directed Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, and he's a
Yeah.
big horror
Okay.
director.
I knew I heard his name
Yeah.
recently. Yeah. Because he went with a darker tone with that one,
Mm.
which was pretty good. I liked it a lot.
Also, there's an I haven't looked at this up close, but there's an iPhone ad up here too. I wonder if that's like an early 2000s iPhone ad. So that's interesting. Um, so I'm a big Spider-Man fan. I have no idea who this character is, but apparently Sony's making a movie for him. He's
Oh,
called.
it looks like Static Shock.
This is the actor who's playing him. Um, I don't know where this photo's from, but the he's gonna be playing the character on the right. He's got Spider-Man in a chokehold.
It looks like
Um,
Bane in some of the comics where
kind
he's
of.
a wrestler.
Uh, so the character's name is El Muerto, and I've never heard of this character ever.
Muerto.
Yeah,
Interesting.
but
It,
apparently a movie's being made with this character.
I
Out
mean,
of
it would
all
be
the
cool if
Spider-Man
they just.
characters,
I'm down with them just also just just making their own villains. We don't have to go through every comic book ever. Like we can also just make something new too.
well, I mean, I can't imagine Sony doing that because they have the rights to these characters. We like we went through all this like this legal battle and everything and securing these
Yeah.
rights. We need to use these characters. Marvel has absolutely created their own villains as well as changed villains from the comics and
Yeah.
not just villains but like other characters. MCU is its own thing. It doesn't need to pull directly from the comics every time, but it does definitely use them as inspiration.
Yeah.
But I don't imagine Sony's gonna go the same route.
Yeah.
Let's go into San Diego Comic-Con, where all the big announcements happen. We now know that this saga of the MCU is called the Multiverse Saga.
Yeah.
Kind of obvious from
Yeah.
what we've seen
Well,
so
I
far.
literally thought that's what it already was called. I didn't know we
Oh,
were
you
just gonna
did?
announce it.
Really?
I
You
was like,
thought? Okay.
I thought that's what it was. I thought we had the Infinity Saga and then the Multiverse Saga, and then we are gonna have because everything that's been coming out is multiverse related stuff. We had Loki, we had Thor,
Not
we had the
everything,
Spider
yeah.
Man, we had Doctor Strange.
Mhm.
Yeah,
But
Spider Man, Doctor Strange,
a lot of
Loki, and
the
then
a lot of
the
the
Kang Dynasty.
yeah, I mean, but like Shang-Chi, the Eternals, Black Widow, for just on the movie side, and a lot of the other Disney Plus shows, not
But a lot of that's
everything
just a lot of
evolves the
that.
multiverse.
Right, but to me, my like the way I saw like Black Widow was sort of just finishing off Black Widow's story, so I still kind of count that more as Phase 4, even though Phase
Three.
4, even though I know is it 3?
It is
Yeah,
phase 4, but yeah, it felt like a
but
phase 3.
I count it more as Phase 3, even though technically the end credits leave off at Phase 4, so it's to me it's a Phase 3 movie, and like 90% of it is a Phase 3 movie minus where it ends. So I think that's more what it should be. And then yeah, me and Jess were talking about that too. Like we both thought it was like this is all gonna be multiversal stuff, so we're gonna see a lot of more. That's why you're bringing out characters that have almost everything that's been new, like the Eternals, Shang-Chi. Even though Shang-Chi is mostly on Earth and a different world also located
There
on
was
Earth
another
or Pathway.
dimension, yeah. That's a good
Yeah,
point.
we're like, well, the rings are calling out to somewhere else, and we don't even know where. It could be in a different universe, could be in our universe, could be somewhere in a different galaxy or far out in the galaxy. So we're like, it's gonna be more multiversal stuff because we need more characters that are more like power and magic based to fight. Because like, what is Captain America gonna do in a multiverse? Like he's got to put on like an Iron Man suit to breathe in space and stuff. Like you're gonna need more. That's why we have like a lot more magic stuff coming out. I thought, anyways. and Infinity Saga, the Multiverse Saga.
Yeah.
It's gonna be cool.
We have we got our look at I Am Groot, which I mean, I'm displaying on screen here, but we got our visual context rectangle for two reasons. I don't want a copyright claim, and also Jordan doesn't want to be spoiled for trailer stuff.
Yeah, not too much. But
This is a trailer of kind of like the tone of the show. This, if you didn't like Thor for being a kids movie, I don't know if you're gonna like I Am Groot. Because these are I think 9 shorts that they're releasing to Disney Plus.
I'll like that because I know I'm going to watch like a kids thing. Like
This is what
Thor,
you're expecting, yeah.
Yeah, Thor. I was like after seeing Ragnarok, he had his hair cut, he had swords, he had a cool he had a. Also, that's another thing I want to say. In Thor Ragnarok, his helmet, the way it flipped up and then it still had like the wings. That's like the coolest, like Valkyrie-ish or Valhalla looking helmet for Thor. I love that one. But yeah, I wanted more badass, more power, more hammers and axes being wielded and thrown and cutting people up, and I just thought it was gonna be a little cooler. And then you had the Guardians of the Galaxy, so I thought there was gonna be like some heist type stuff in it, but it didn't really deliver everything I wanted. There is something that it ends with that I was like, that is a cool conclusion to someone's story. So there's some cool ending stuff in Thor, and there's some cool new beginning stuff in Thor. But yeah, like the Groot, I'll love it because I love shorts and stuff for other things, and Groot's cute and whatever, so we'll like that. But
I'm not. I haven't. I'll be honest. I haven't been looking forward to this. Like this is the thing I've cared least about for all the stuff because I know this. Yeah. I love Groot as a character. And I love Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm not like when they announced this. I'm like, is this? I'm like, first of all, is this going to be an MCU thing? Because I'm not sure that I'm not convinced that it is. Secondly, I'm like, and it's probably going to be like a kids thing, which like, and I'm not a 100% against that. I do like a lot of stuff made for kids, but I'm like, I have this feeling this is going to be sort of like a Minions Pixar shorts kind of thing, which like I don't know if I'm like really hyped about compared to everything else in the MCU. And they showed off the trailer. I'm like, it's exactly what I was expecting. These are gonna be like quick shorts on Disney Plus that are gonna be like the Disney and Pixar shorts that we've seen from like before a movie starts. And it definitely has that sort of like similar humor. It looks like. So I'm not. I don't know. I feel like I'm not big on on I Am Groot.
Yeah, I love Groot.
Yeah.
I don't know. It sucks because I don't really care about Vin Diesel, but I like Groot. Does Vin Diesel do Baby Groot too?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like.
He's starring in these shorts.
I can't fucking stand Vin Diesel though.
I will say so. This is confirmed to be in the MCU. It is set between the end of Guardians of the Galaxy 2, where after they give Yondu the send off.
It's kind of after that.
Yeah, so this is where takes place. Well, they said there's gonna be like some cameos and references and stuff, but I feel like this isn't gonna have like some huge connection to the MCU that is really gonna be that important. So I can imagine this would be like something that you could skip. I will be watching them, but like I don't have like high expectations for this.
It's not going to only be ones that you and your your brother and all that we have to like watch together. You can probably just watch them on your own.
They're all going to be releasing all at once. So we're just gonna watch them all at once, and then that's it.
Justin and I'll probably just binge them because like we won't care as much. So we'll probably just be like, all right, let's just I don't know. I don't know how many are there that are releasing.
I think there's gonna be 9.
Okay. Yeah. No, I'll like them, but I don't need to watch. Like I'll watch them all, but like, exactly, I wouldn't say I'm excited. Like I'm not excited for them, but I'll watch them because I'll be like, oh, they're fun stuff I can watch before bed. So.
We got some information on Spider-Man freshman year, but I'm gonna breeze through a lot of this. First of all, when they announced this, which was I think it was 2 years ago, they said this is going to be an animated series on Disney Plus that follows Peter Parker in his beginning days of Spider-Man. So it's very much pitched as an MCU animation thing. I'm like, well, that's pretty cool because we haven't seen the Spider-Man origin in the MCU. We've just been like, it's just been referred to. All we know is he got bit by a spider, and we don't know where the spider came from because Norman Osborn apparently doesn't exist in the MCU. So how did that story come about? So I wanted to see like how's this Spider-Man origin? What did he do in his early days before Civil War? Um, that doesn't seem like at all what they pitched. This is very much a not an MCU show. It's taking place in a different timeline. This is sort of like What If. This is like a spin-off What If story. And it seems like I'll get to the slide, but it seems like we know what the what if question is going to be by the end. But here's his like hockey jersey outfit that's sort of like similar to the outfit that we saw in Spider-Man Homecoming. So he's wearing like just a homemade suit.
Right, like the one that yeah, the one that Iron Man finds in his bedroom.
Yeah, so it's
Yeah,
similar to
with
that,
his
but not
goggles.
exactly the same. Um,
Yeah,
this is what Peter Parker is going to look like. Um,
it looks exactly like Tom Holland.
Daredevil is going to make an appearance in the show. It's going to look a little bit different from the Netflix
Is this
show.
going to be Tom Holland again, or is it going to be a younger kid?
Considering, so it's going to be a different actor. I feel like maybe they're trying to get Tom Holland, but Tom
Okay.
Holland wasn't in What If, and I feel like maybe because Marvel and Sony have different rights now since the last agreement, which I read online seems to be, we don't know exactly what that new deal is, but I read online that seems to be like there's no like contracts anymore. A lot of people are trying to say like, oh, like they haven't revealed what the contract is. I'm like, doesn't sound like there's a set movie contract anymore. It's just when like when Marvel wants to use the character, they have some sort of mutual discussion with Sony about it.
Yeah.
So I think that's what the new deal is, but I could be wrong. We don't really know because that stuff isn't transparent to the public. I have a feeling they're trying to get Tom Holland because they haven't said anything, but they can't. Like they're having difficulties. Charlie Cox though is going to be playing Daredevil, so that's fun. So we're going to see the return of Charlie Cox as Daredevil in Spider-Man freshman year.
I like it.
These are the villains, and immediately when you see this, you realize there's some problems with this being set in the MCU if it is in the MCU. Because first of all, we've already had a Doc Ock that Peter Parker didn't know in Spider-Man No Way Home. So we've had a Scorpion that was completely different to this character that he met in that he like well, I guess met in Spider-Man Homecoming.
We didn't meet him. He was just in jail, right?
Yeah, he's just in jail. Yeah.
I would say we met him, but we didn't really get one.
Well, I mean, he came across him, right? He gave him that like eye and scar and everything. This is not in the MCU. there's no way. There's just some more art. These are like Peter's friends. The football player to our left, his right is Harry Osborn actually, and then next to him is a character who I believe is the son of the Doctor in Age of Ultron. And we have some more Spider-Man outfits. Hey, he didn't have these outfits before Civil War, so yeah. So this is Doctor Strange is in it. This is like it's just like going down the thing. So yeah, this is very much a what if scenario. And then here's Norman Osborn. So Norman Osborn exists in this timeline, and it seems like the what if scenario is what if instead of Tony Stark, he came home and met Norman Osborn. So that's what the what if scenario seems like. I'm down for more Spider-Man animation. Uh, so I'm interested to check this out because it's different. But I don't know. What do you think? Are you gonna be watching it?
I'll be watching it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I like the. Wait, is it gonna look like this, or is that just the comic book?
Yeah, this is what the design's gonna be. So that's the animation style.
We'll give it. I'm sure Justin and I will give it a shot, but
Yeah.
like, for me to watch anything animated, like even What If was a bit difficult. It's only I think I liked What If because a lot of it was how the like a lot of it was characters that we already knew
Mm-hmm.
and like same voice actors. This looks
Different. Yeah.
yeah, like if it was gonna do like like the Spider-Man into the Spider
It
Verse
doesn't
or
seem like this has like any sort of involvement with the MCU.
right. I'm just saying if it looked like
Mm.
that animation, I could do it. If it's like this, I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. I'm I'm much more into animation, I think, than you are. So I'm probably more interested to check this out. Um, but we'll see. I'm not like super hyped about it. We are getting, we did get an announcement for What If season 2, as well as a spin-off, Marvel Zombies, which I guess is going to get a TVMA rating, or what they're aiming for anyway. So it's going to be much more violent and gruesome, like the comics are, compared to what we saw in What If. And then these are the main characters, or some of the main characters. So we got Yelena, we got Kate Bishop, we got Jimmy Woo, Shang-Chi, Miss Marvel. I think that character was called the Death Dealer in Shang-Chi. And next to him is Red Guardian, and then Katie from Shang-Chi. So that's our lineup of heroes for Marvel Zombies. Then we got the zombies themselves. We got Scarlet Witch back as a zombie. We got Ghost from Ant-Man.
Right.
Hawkeye with a bunch of arrows through him for some reason. Okoye, Abomination, Captain America ripped in half, and Captain Marvel. So those are the zombies that we're gonna be seeing.
Is that Scarlet Witch in the top left?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And then we got some other characters. I have no clue who these are. These are some other characters that are going to be in What If, or I mean in Marvel Zombies. So
Also gonna be animated.
yeah, and this looks like similar animation style to What If. So I think they're keeping that sort of design. And then these
Okay.
are a bunch of these are like a team of uh, I don't know, post-apocalyptic punk rock scrolls. I mean, um, so they're also fighting in the zombie apocalypse. So that's interesting. I don't know how that's gonna tie into anything. And then the big thing is Zombie Icarus from the Eternals. So I feel like if he had Zombie Superman, that would probably be like the worst thing to have it as a zombie.
Yeah.
So this is the closest thing in the MCU is Zombie Icarus.
It's crazy they get to keep their fucking powers as zombies.
Yeah, well, I mean that's the way it was in the comics. I think that's
Yeah.
how they're pulling. I think it's more
That's
fun
wild.
that way. It's
Well,
I think
because
makes
yeah,
a
then
more
you
interesting
just have
story.
superheroes murdering zombies by the hundreds, and
Mm-hmm.
it's a lot easier than guns and having to reload.
Then we got some information and screenshots about X-Men 97, which is apparently continuing right where the 90s cartoon show left off, which seems so weird to me. I don't know if you've ever like gone back and tried to watch that show now, but it's a very weird show. uh so there's the characters. We got some returning and new characters. Nightcrawler, awesome. That's one of my favorite X-Men, so that's cool. Are you
Last thing I want is somebody who could teleport right to me and fucking bite me, though. Jesus.
Well, this isn't zombies. So this is X-Men 97, which is a
Oh,
continuation from the 90s cartoon.
bro.
Um
Okay.
yeah.
I was like, wait, they're doing the X Men. I was
Yeah.
like, fuck. I was
A
like,
lot
dude,
of
I'll
the I think they're getting a lot of the same voice actors for the show too.
imagine having that though. Like Nightcrawler just teleports to
Yeah.
you, picks you up, takes you into like the air, the sky with you, and then
Mhm.
you're just fighting him off before he bites you before you hit the ground and
Yeah.
zombie.
Uh And then Magneto is gonna be in charge of the X-Men. This is the outfit. Are you gonna be watching the X-Men '97?
Again, animated stuff, it depends. I'll have to see how much I get into it. There's so many other good shows like aside of the MCU stuff that
Yeah.
I also really want to get into, and um, I'll see. Like it's hard
Yeah.
to watch animated like animation.
Mm-hmm.
Like I like stuff like Rick and Morty because it's just
Yeah.
like I like just humor.
Yeah.
Animated action doesn't really do anything for me. Whereas like I love like if I want to watch things explode, I want to watch real things explode.
Yeah.
Fake explosions or fake whatever. It's not as cool to me. But
I completely
like
understand.
what if did a good job of making me look forward to some. So we'll see
Yeah.
if it's
Well,
as well as what if I
I
could probably get into.
I don't think this is gonna like. Did you watch the '90s cartoon?
Yeah, I did I did watch those as a
Yeah,
kid, but
because
like
this is gonna
going back,
be
like that's
this.
it's hard to watch.
It is. Those shows are on Disney Plus. It's definitely hard to watch, and I feel like they're pitching this as a continuation of that. So I don't like. I'm probably gonna skip this one, but my interest is like, are they going to try to have force this in some way into the multiverse? That's what I'm interested in. Are they gonna have some sort of like thing that they're gonna force into this to tie it to the MCU? Uh,
Um, I don't know I don't know. Sorry, what were you gonna say? I cut you off. Go ahead.
no, no, I didn't. I wasn't cut off.
I I don't know. It'd be cool to see. It'd be cool to see like stuff like that in there. I'd rather just keep like I don't mind what if because we're in the multiversal stuff right now. Like that was okay. I don't really know if I want X-Men, I think into the MCU, I'd prefer if it was real actors and not animated
I
because I don't
think
want.
I think just like a lot of the animation announcements we're seeing, where they're saying like from Marvel Studios, these are Marvel Studios animation, which I think we were under the impression at the beginning that these are going to have the same sort of connectedness to the MCU as we've seen from other shows and movies, where that hasn't been the case, and these announcements so far don't seem to be the case. Um, so like we have What If, Marvel Zombies, X-Men '97, and then Spider-Man Freshman Year. None of those seem to be uh like, I mean, What If it is connected to the MCU kind of in the same way that Agents of Shield was a one-way relationship. Um so I don't know if we're going to like I don't it's hard to be excited about a lot of the animated stuff when we've been thinking that they're going to be connected to the MCU, but they're not really. So
Right.
I don't know. I'm excited to see like what other projects they might bring from animation. Now that I have that in my mindset, like okay, so you're not MCU, you're just doing your own thing. What other stuff is going to come out? Because I'd love to see some adaptations from the comics, but Marvel never does that. So like the same way that DC does for their animation. So I'm not holding my breath. But that was
Yeah.
day one of animation. I'm trying to block this as quickly as I can. I'm sorry. We've got some trailers and stuff for She-Hulk. Um, there's a lot of spoiler stuff. I will say that I'm noticing the animation does look a bit better from the first time we've seen it. Um, I want to prepare you for She-Hulk. It's gonna be a comedy.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Is it gonna be like laugh tracks?
No,
Okay.
but
I probably okay. Because the last thing I need is like
yeah, they're gonna be
I don't
30.
know.
They're gonna be 30-minute episodes, so it's gonna be from the trailers we've seen. It doesn't scream immediately that it's like a sitcom.
Yeah.
Like it's not gonna have like that WandaVision kind of style,
It might
but
not be very action packed.
I think there's gonna be action in there. I think they're gonna throw in their MCU, you know, format into the show, just like we've
Yeah.
seen in WandaVision. But I think they're focusing on making this like a TV comedy with some MCU stuff in it. I just know Jordan's not a big comedy guy or a sitcom guy, So I know, like, I need to prepare him because he doesn't know anything about She-Hulk and he hasn't been seeing the trailers.
Yeah, I love stand-up comedy,
Mm-hmm.
and I like I don't know, sitcoms with laugh tracks are hard. Like I like
It's not gonna
Friends.
be. There's
Like
not gonna be a laugh track.
yeah, it's hit or miss. Like
Yeah.
it's like some of them are good. It just depends. Like just joke after joke after joke isn't good. I like
Mm-hmm.
a good build-up joke, and Marvel's more
Yeah.
of like ah, wasn't that funny? And you're like, ah, it was okay. And they're like, okay, well, we're gonna do it again in about 40 minutes.
So there's like a lot of character crossover stuff that they've teased. There's a lot of people think that um another character was teased. I'm just gonna say it because I don't think it's actually true. A lot of people think Ghost Rider is gonna show up in the show based on like a sign that they saw, which a lot of people thought said Johnny Blaze. It might have said Johnny Blaze if they changed the name, like the spelling. I don't think so though. Or if Marvel's changing the character name in the MCU. There's definitely a Blaze as the last name. Um, but I don't think that was Ghost Rider. I think that was just the name that they put on a sign for that specific scene. Um, so please, like, I don't think we should get our hopes up. I'm not gonna say what the other characters are because it's gonna spoil stuff for Jordan. But I've been making my thoughts about a lot of that stuff public on my personal Twitter, and I know a lot of everybody else has. But if you want to have discussions with me in the comments, feel free to do so. Um, yeah, so I included the featurette here for that reason, so I'll skip it. Are you excited about She-Hulk? I think you're muted. I can't hear you.
Sorry. I'm not. I wouldn't say I'm excited, but I'm not like I've heard a lot of bad things about it, but I'm not trying to let that get in the way of it. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm still hoping it's good. I don't really know what to expect. So as long as it's not like they don't go overboard with how cheesy things are, it's so hard to watch cheesy stuff to me because I find it cringy. And then I'm like, God, this I should be entertained while watching TV, not uncomfortable. So like it's as long
I'm expecting there to be a lot of cheese.
yeah. So we'll see. We'll see. I'm hoping I'm going in
Yeah.
hoping to enjoy at least 60% of it. So
Yeah.
if it falls under that, then I'll be disappointed. If I at least was like, no, actually it wasn't that bad, then I'll like it. Because I've
Okay.
liked everything Marvel and Disney, like everything that's been on Disney Plus so far has been great.
Yeah.
All the Marvel stuff I've enjoyed, all the Star Wars stuff I've enjoyed. Ms. Marvel is the only one I'm having a hard time getting into, and it's only because it's like she's doing a really good job as Miss Marvel. I like her powers.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just not as it's just very like I think I'm just past the high school stuff, so I don't care enough about her high school issues. I'm like I've already
Yeah,
lived past that. I'm like
that's
get over.
temporary though. Like,
Yeah,
I'm sure if there's like another Miss Marvel season 2, we'll probably go back to the high school setting.
oh, yeah.
Um,
But
but
it's the
well,
same thing with Spider Man. Like nothing against her. It's the same thing with Spider Man. I love
yeah.
Spider Man, but I
But you
care
don't like
nothing
the high
about.
school stuff, yeah. That's
Yeah,
very tied to those characters though, and that's how they want to present it because it's like
yeah,
it's very a lot of people the target audience people in school and high school just
yeah.
see like a lot of relatability to those. I feel like Miss Marvel is a modern day Spider-Man and I can elaborate on that further, but we're gonna move on to San Diego Comic-Con and hold off on the Miss Marvel topics right now,
Yeah.
because we're gonna start off with recapping Phase 4 and what's to come, which is a complete lie in the slide because we got She-Hulk coming up. They don't mention I Am Groot in this slide, so that's missing. We also got Black Panther Wakanda Forever. We don't have the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special, and we don't have what hasn't technically been even announced yet, which I find weird because it's coming up soon. Is the Werewolf by Night Halloween special that we're expecting during Halloween. so
Hmm.
so yeah, this is
Are
a
you able to zoom
lie.
in on this? I can't.
Zoom in.
Yeah, zoom in on it. I'm just trying
Um,
to like for.
I don't
I
know
guess
if
I
I
could
can.
just make. Let's see if I can make my screen a little bit bigger.
I can. I can. maybe zoom in on the.
No, it's fine. I made my screen bigger. That's probably fine, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
That's just phase 4. So just recapping, we've had WandaVision
Yeah.
during 2021, Falcon and Winter Soldier, and Loki, Black Widow, Shang-Chi, The Eternals, Hawkeye, Spider-Man No Way Home, Moon Knight, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, Miss Marvel, Thor Love and Thunder. Then we're going to have She-Hulk, Black Panther Wakanda Forever. And then missing on the slide is I Am Groot, the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special, and supposedly Werewolf by Night.
Yeah. WandaVision, very important to the MCU. Only liked near the ending of the show. I don't know. Maybe one day I'll watch it again, but it's not one
I
day
feel the
one day I can
opposite.
rewatch. Yeah. Falcon Winter
Relax.
Soldier. I liked it. Was kind of annoyed that they went back with more Captain America Super Soldier Serum stuff because I'm like, we've already seen enough of that. Like I was kind of over it. But I do like that they wrapped up some of the characters from Thor Winter Soldier because I was like, how did that guy go toe to toe with Cap? So they kind of keyed in on that. It was good. It was good though. Loki, I think, was my all-time favorite, along with Moon Knight. Those are my two favorite of the shows so far. Then I would say probably Hawkeye next. I liked Hawkeye. I liked watching all the stuff. Eternals was good. I had a lot of people say there's a lot of bad reviews about it and saying that it's nothing like any other MCU movies. I didn't really think of it as nothing other than a Marvel movie. I still felt like it was a Marvel movie. There's a lot of characters. I liked it. Shang-Chi, probably in my top 10 favorite ones, and the rings were super cool.
Yeah.
No Way Home had its cheesy moments, but overall I enjoyed it. Probably in my top 10 as well. Also just seeing some of the like nostalgia factor from some of my other favorite Spider-Mans. So awesome. Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. Loved everything about it. Kind of wish we saw a little bit more universes though, but I know it's hard to put in a 2.5 hour movie. I thought we were gonna see like just tons and tons and tons of multiverses, but I was like, yeah, I guess that's too much. It's a lot to show.
I think
Thor,
probably originally from the original director that might have been the case, but it sounds like they completely scrapped and changed the movie once they switched writers and switched directors.
She-Hulk. I'll give you my thoughts when I watch it because I'm trying to keep open mind about it. Miss Marvel, I'm hoping the ending gets really good because I'll probably like it. I like it so far. It's just been hard to want to go back to. There's also been a lot of other shows that came out. Like I kind of switched over to The
started at the
Boys and
same
stuff.
time as Star Wars and a lot of other
Star
stuff.
Wars, The Boys, the Upside Down. What's the Stranger Things? Like a lot of other stuff.
I don't think this show really is the type of show to compete with those shows though. So like a lot of people are having that excuse where like, and I think that's why they changed the date for Marvel shows now to be on Thursdays. So She-Hulk is going to be premiering one day later. That might have been a result of Miss Marvel's performance, but it is the highest rated Disney Plus show for Marvel. So
they say that every single time a new one comes out. I'm like, no, none
but
of
it's
them
been
have
like
beat.
it's supposedly been the worst viewed. Like not as much people viewed it, and a lot of people are saying it's because it premiered with like all these other amazing shows at the exact same time. But the people who have watched it really like it, so that's why it's the like most highly reviewed.
Highly reviewed. Okay, yeah, that's different than the most. Than I was thinking the most highly watched. I was like,
No,
they
it's
said that. I feel like
definitely
they
not.
said.
No.
No, I was gonna say, I was like, it's got to be Loki or Moon Knight have to be the top two, and then probably or at least WandaVision. But I'm pretty
you
sure
got
Loki.
It's tough because it is a new character, although it's a very notable character from the comics. It's rising in popularity.
I like her.
But
I like her a lot.
yeah.
Wakanda Forever. I thought Thor: Love and Thunder was gonna be my number one, like most anticipated this summer. But now I'm trying to steer my hopes towards Black Panther being my new.
Did you watch
being
the
my
trailer?
top. For Black Panther, yeah, I did. I watched it when I was really sleepy though, right in the morning, so I don't remember all of it. I'm excited for it.
Watch it again because I would say this is probably like one of the best Marvel trailers I've ever watched. Yeah.
Really, actually, it's funny. My favorite trailer that Marvel's ever released was for Miss Marvel. The teaser was so good. The music was so good.
Yeah,
They didn't give
lights.
anything away, but they still showed her They still showed her powers, but didn't give away a villain or nothing. And
Yeah.
I thought that's my favorite. That's probably my favorite one.
So
Or Ragnarok.
my brother never wants to watch any trailers. Like,
Yeah.
and he's asking me. I was like, oh, they released a trailer, probably one of the best trailers I've ever seen. I'm so looking forward to this movie. Like all my doubts about it kind of like went away after watching this trailer. And he's like, oh yeah, does it spoil anything? And I'm like, yeah, it spoils a lot. So
Yeah.
so yeah, I'm like, don't watch the trailer, but the trailer was amazing.
See now the thing I I love Chadwick Boseman so much. Like me and Jess have been going through all of the um like we've been going through just through all of his other movie. Like we just watched
Mm,
21 Bridges like 2 or 3 nights ago.
mm.
Like I was just, like it's just so good. Like we're just watching everything with Chadwick Boseman. Love love his performance. I love the guy. The movie is it's one of my favorites. I think it might be Jess's favorite MCU movie. I think it's
All
her
right.
favorite one. Yeah.
I feel like it is
Um
for a lot of people. I don't feel the same way. I thought it was a good movie. I just don't have that um I don't have that sort of
it's like
attachment to the
re
character
yeah,
that a lot of people
yeah.
have. But
I,
the story that they're doing for this movie, I definitely do. So I've been looking forward to this. I'm like, this is the natural next story that they can introduce, and they're doing it. And despite uh, losing the actor and the character, they're continuing on, and I think they're doing it in a really great way, and I can't wait for it. It looks fantastic.
yeah. I'm excited, but I've thought about multiple different options, and I think I only have one that'll make me happy, and is
Yeah.
it's not to replace like if obviously you can have another Black Panther, but you can't have another T'Challa. So I don't want to see someone else reprise the role of T'Challa.
A lot of people
I don't.
disagree with you on Twitter, but they're wrong because the movie's already filmed, so get over it. But go ahead.
Yeah. Why people want someone else to
people
play
want
T'Challa?
people want T'Challa recast. It's too late. I was on board at the beginning. I said I feel like Marvel's gonna recast because again, it's the character that's more important than the actor. That's how I felt at the time. However it came to be this way though, that's a um discussion that's far gone now.
Yeah.
The character is dealt with in the MCU now. The movie's been filmed, it's done. You're not gonna get what you want. T'Challa's not getting recast.
Yeah.
So stop it, get over
See,
it.
so my thing is then I don't want them to kill him off either because then you leave out the
It
option
sounds
to
like
recast
they might be.
because then you leave out the option to recast people. So if they do it how
Yeah,
I
but
want them to do it, like this is what I think should happen. They
okay.
should just say that T'Challa. I don't know if you're gonna say that he
You went to space.
no, I mean not space, but like after everything that's happened, he was trying to open up the borders
Yeah.
to help Earth, right?
Okay.
Then
Yeah.
Thanos came and ruined everything, and he got blipped away and stuff. So the Earth got even worse. Like
Mm-hmm.
for human wise, the Earth got better, but or whatever. And then we just had a celestial just almost rip the planet apart and stuff.
Which
I think
nobody's
what they
talking
should,
about.
yeah, which nobody's talking about. So if they don't bring that up, then I don't know. Fine, whatever. I guess we just won't bring up the fact that the Earth almost opened up. But
Yeah.
um, I think they should just say that T'Challa had I know it's cheesy because we saw the whole thing of plants or whatever be burned by Killmonger in the last one,
Yep.
but we could say that there's some other ones out there somewhere, or they found some other.
Could be
Uh,
like the whole like all of Wakanda, right? Is there's the vibranium is all around it and gave birth to the heart shaped herb. So
so
there's
they could
still a
say
ton more vibranium, so more could
could
pop up.
easily say that there's they don't, we only have one last field left,
Mm-hmm.
so this is it. And then I think they should do is just say that T'Challa decided to write his remember his ancestors were like all enclosing Wakanda and not helping at all,
Mm-hmm.
and then
Oh, he's like it's his
T'Challa's like
mission to like
yeah,
help
he was like
others.
you guys
Yeah.
are all wrong. So you could just say that he's being the king that Wakanda needs and is out fixing all of his family's mistakes, and
Mm-hmm.
now he is helping the world in a better place. And maybe he has, and Shuri's helping him with all his science shit or whatever. But you could just say that we need a new Black Panther, and then maybe I don't know. I think I've heard that Shuri takes over, which I'm fine with. If you want to do a female Black Panther, I'd be fine with that. If you want somebody else, that's cool. Black Panther also had that love interest with that girl. Uh, from the
Mm-hmm.
last one, you could say that they have a baby together, and then we don't even have to
Nakia.
see any of it. Yeah, we don't have to see any of it, but you can just let it be that T'Challa still lives on in the MCU, even though Chadwick Boseman is gone. We could still have T'Challa that he had alive somewhere else in the MCU, living his life, making Earth better. But now we need a new Black Panther, and I think that's like a nice way to do it for the MCU and for Chadwick Boseman. So I think that'd be cool. Now, if you kill him off, I say that when you kill him off, like if you want to say that he's dead, you could say that he died, and then when you bury him, I think it would be cool if one of those, like the flowers,
Mm-hmm.
if one bloomed where he died, and then you could say that was
Mm-hmm.
like passing on the Black Panther to somebody else. So I feel like those are two really cool options that you could put in the MCU movie that are both very nice for Chadwick Boseman's ending and
Yeah.
T'Challa's. So, and that's why I don't know, I get so heated because I love Chadwick Boseman. So I'm like, please choose one of those two options because I think they're both very good, and
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of like passing the torch in a politeful way for both ways. So recasting, I hate recasting. I don't know why. Like even like when War
I'm fine. It's
Machine
it's
switched,
movies. It happens. I
I
mean,
I know it
it's
does.
not just
It doesn't happen.
MCU. Everybody
MCU's been
does
so
it.
good at not having to do it though that I
They've
like.
done
Like
it a
War.
lot. Again, I can argue
I
that they've
know.
done it a lot.
No, I mean not a, yeah. Like I think the only biggest one I remember was War Machine, but War Machine was only in one movie, and then he was the next all through
The
the rest of the
Hulk,
MCU. Well, yes, the Hulk. We've had like three different Hulks, but we've only had him in one movie before, and then he was the same Hulk through all of them. So to
Fendril,
me, what?
Fendril
Who's Fendril?
from
Oh,
one of the
Thor.
Warriors 3. Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, I didn't even know it was a different guy till later. Like I thought he was so he played the same character so well as the first guy that I forgot that he
First
was a
guy barely
different
had
guy.
any screen time, and
Yeah, I
then
know.
and then Zachary Levi had much more lines in the second movie, and then he was killed off in the third.
But that's different than the Black Panther, who the whole movie's based around. It's always like a side character. It's never been like, oh, Robert Downey Jr. did
Do you
three
think
Iron Mans, passed away, and now he's gonna do a
do you think they're
Avengers movie.
gonna recast General Ross now that William Hurt has died?
I assume so. Again, that I thought he was really good at General Ross,
Mm-hmm.
but he wasn't a main character
Wasn't
or
top
anything. He was
billing.
always, yeah, he was always like the side
Yeah.
role. I mean, you could also just do a different general. General Ross stepped down, so we have a new guy coming in. You don't have to kill
He's
everybody
kind
off.
of important. A lot of people were looking forward to where his character was going in the future. He's
Does
kind
he
of an
become
important
somebody?
character. Does
Does he
become
become
somebody.
something?
Yeah.
Who does he become? I need to know.
Uh, it might still happen. Not for that actor, but it might still happen in the future. So I don't know if you want me to spoil it.
Yeah, it doesn't, knowing the plot of a movie is different than just knowing about a character that I know nothing of, and then you just tell me who he becomes is kind of cool. So like to me, it doesn't count as spoiling it to me. Unless you were
So
gonna tell me like the ending of a movie, then I'd be like, well,
no,
fuck.
no. It might be. So it might involve something that's coming up in phase 5 or 6
Okay,
that we're
yeah.
gonna
Well,
talk
who's he
about.
become? I want to
So
know.
he's supposed to become Red Hulk.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's pretty cool. Yeah, all right. Yeah,
Uh.
see the characters becoming things on a character aren't spoilers to me
Mhm.
unless like you were gonna tell me like at Age of Ultron and you'd be like, by the way, they create Ultron in this movie. Then I'd be like, oh fuck. I'd be like, god damn it. Then like that stuff that's spoilers to me.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if you just tell me that, oh hey, Ultron's in this movie, I'd be like, oh that's cool.
Well,
Or sorry, if you told me that Ultron
the
that creates,
original in the comics, Ant-Man's the one who creates Ultron.
yeah, I remember. Yeah, you told me that too.
Would
Yeah,
not have made sense for the MCU, so that's a good thing they changed that.
yeah.
I'm fine with them killing off T'Challa and the character in the MCU. So I'm
You're
actually expecting it. My question is, who's going to be Black Panther? Like, do you have your pick on who's going to be Black Panther?
Make it Denzel Washington.
No, not like. So is it a new character that they're introducing, played by Denzel Washington?
No, I would if they were gonna pick a new Black Panther, I would
Yeah,
hope it. I was like me and Jess after watching the trailer, we were thinking Shuri should be first.
that's a lot of
Uh,
people's guess. Yeah,
we were thinking the other girl, his girlfriend.
Nakia.
If you, yeah, Nakia. I always forget her name. Nakia.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't think Akora. Is it Akora?
Okoye?
Okoye. I don't think Okoye would do it.
I don't think so either.
So Okoye, we kind of left off the table. Me and Jess both agreed that these two would both be good. Shuri mostly.
Sure, he's
Um,
most likely going to be. Yeah.
me and Jess also, I don't know if we read it somewhere or if we both just sort of we were talking about it. It was really early in the morning we were talking about it. We were also thinking it'd be kind of cool if, mostly because we both like Michael B. Jordan, but we thought it'd be cool if he didn't actually die and they put him on ice or something
I would
or
hate that if they
whatever.
brought him back. He very
They made it.
clearly died and
Yeah,
did not
yeah,
want to
he
be
very
saved in
clearly,
that
yeah,
movie.
he very clearly died, and he did not want to be a prisoner,
Yeah.
and he was clearly a villain. But I was like, I don't know, he'd make a good Black Panther, but he's
Oh yeah,
already
for
been
sure.
used, so we're like, okay, yeah, that's I don't really, outside of that, we don't really know who else we would
Yeah.
like. Like I don't know. He honestly, Chadwick Boseman did such a phenomenal job. Like it's
Hmm.
hard when someone's like nails a role.
I I'm pitching for Nakia.
Ikea,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think she'd be a cool Black Panther. I think it makes sense for the narrative and the story. If she would want to take on that role. And I understand it's most likely going to be Shuri. I've and I'm fine with Shuri being Black Panther. I don't like the actor Letitia Wright, and I don't want her to have top billing. So that's just a petty thing for me. But I'm fine with Shuri becoming Black Panther. But I'm pitching for Nakia.
Actually, I think you're right. I think actually now that I think about it, that might be better. I think if Nakia did it, because if you do kill him off, then at least you can say that her lover or his lover
Hmm.
decided to like take up the role, so she could be Black Panther,
Yeah.
and you can still have Shuri doing all the sciencey stuff and
Hmm.
creating all the suits and stuff. So that'd still be cool because I like her as like the childish genius.
Yeah.
So I like that as a character. I don't. It's weird if you were to just all of a sudden make her the warrior now because like even though she
Yeah.
has weapons and stuff, she's not really like frontline warrior I think material yet. Like I'm not saying she won't be, but we've only seen her in two things. So
Yeah. We got some information about Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. I don't know how much you want to be spoiled for that movie, but here's a poster, like a teaser poster. Um, they did reveal some details about the movie in the panel though.
who's the dude in the background? Is that gonna be the villain?
That's gonna be the villain,
What's his
yeah.
name?
uh,
Oh, wait, is it too much of a spoiler?
I think it would be, yeah. Bless you. Well, we know. No, I'll spoil this for you because we know the title of a movie coming out. We know this character. We've seen this character before. That's Jonathan Majors, the actor in the back there, played He Who Remains in Loki, and is now playing Kang the Conqueror in Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, and we will see in other movies for sure.
Okay, because I was gonna say he looks like Kang but
Hmm.
blue.
Yeah,
So
well,
I was like,
Kang in the comics is blue.
oh, okay, well
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
It
He's
wasn't
gonna look
blue in
different.
Loki, but okay.
No, he doesn't. Yeah, but there's variations of Kang the Conqueror.
Right.
So
So yeah, when I was looking at him, I was like,
yeah,
it looks like the same actor. So I was like, he looks like Kang, but
yeah,
he looks like he's just yeah, whatever. So okay, cool. So we got Quantumania. We
yep.
got Ant-Man, that was Wasp, and who was the other one?
That
The
is
two Wasps?
that's Cassie Lang in the other suit. So she's gonna be
Where,
going on
what's her name?
adventures with them. What's her name?
Yeah, what does she become? Ant-Woman?
I don't know what her
Ant
name's.
Girl?
I don't know what her name's gonna be in the movie. In the comics, her alias is Stature.
Stature?
Yeah, but I don't know if they're gonna use the same name for the movie. Played by
play on like the
by the
small
way,
or large.
also another character that's been recast. So fuck it.
Well, because Cassie. Well, because she. I mean, technically, she was a child, and
Yes,
now
but
she was an adult.
then yeah,
And that too.
they had an adult actor in
And
Endgame, and now they've recast that actor as somebody else in this movie. I can't remember the actor's name, but she played the girl in Detective Pikachu. That's
did
all I
they
know.
say why? Or
Probably because they wanted a bigger name actor. That's it. The original actors, like, I don't know, they never told me anything. Like she was left in the dark. So
the original one?
not the
That's
child, but the one in Endgame.
yeah, that's annoying because you're like, that could be my
Mm-hmm.
big break. I could be a superhero,
Yeah.
and you can make me famous. And they're like, no, we're just gonna get someone who's already
I'm
famous.
guessing. So I don't know whose decision that would have been. I would imagine it might have been down to the director. Maybe the director said, "No, I want this person to be Cassie Lang."
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Oh, you
I'm
should have
obviously.
picked that to begin with. You think ahead. That's what Marvel's always done. They
Well,
think ahead.
Peyton
Now
Reed
you're
didn't
just
direct
flying.
Endgame,
What?
right? Peyton Reed didn't direct Endgame, and he didn't have like an
Yeah.
actor lined up or anything for Ant-Man. So, but we got Phase 5. Let's move on. Phase 5. Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania is kicking it up. We got a new logo for Secret Invasion. And I don't know if we got any more details on Secret Invasion. Beyond that. So who knows? We'll finally know what Nick Fury has been up to, because we haven't seen him in quite a very long time. So we're kind of clueless.
He's just chilling with aliens.
Just
and
chilling with
sipping
aliens, looking for his shoes.
coladas, probably. Looking for what?
Looking for his shoes.
Yeah.
Got my shoes. We got Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. I'm so excited for this movie. They teased a lot of stuff in the panel. I will be spoiling one thing because it is important. It needs to be spoiled. But yeah, this is a movie that should come out long ago. I think James Gunn was unfortunately, like, he was let go. It was the wrong decision to do that, but it was better for him because we got the Suicide Squad after that. He not only got a settlement after getting fired, but got like a new job for a new movie, TV show. He is living life right now because some people decided they didn't like what he was saying on Twitter about their president. Then we got Echo coming out. So
Echo is the girl from Arrow, correct?
Echo
Echo? Is she the girl who was
from
in
Hawkeye.
Arrow?
You're in a different universe. You're in a
Yeah,
different
the Arrow guy. Arrow guy. All right.
Arrow.
Yeah, Sockeye. Yes. I was like, yeah, that's right. I'm saying the right thing. I was in DC mode still after you said
Thanos,
James Gunn.
you have failed this city.
Yeah. 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 Okay. So it's she's the sign language girl, the deaf girl from Echo.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
Maya
Okay.
Lopez.
Okay. Yeah, I like the character.
We got one screenshot from that show. Looking forward to it. Do you want to know like what other characters are going to be showing up in that show, or do you want to leave it spoil free?
For which show? Sorry.
Echo.
No, it's okay. I'll just leave it spoil free.
We got Loki season 2, which is filming right now.
Cool.
So yeah, looking forward to that. Definitely left off on a cliffhanger that's boggling my mind right now. So I definitely need to know where that goes.
Yeah. Well, before we move on, for Loki, do you think they're gonna move on with Loki more like in movies? Like, do you think we'll see another a Thor and Loki movie, or they'll just do a couple shows of Loki for the multiverse saga, and then kind of be done with?
I
Tom
don't know
Hiddleston?
if we'll get any more shows. I guess that depends what they're doing for season 2. I can't imagine. Well, I think Tom Hiddleston likes playing the character, so anytime they need to bring him back, you'll be down for it. But I don't know if we're gonna get a Loki beyond season 2. Maybe it's possible. I don't think we're gonna see a Thor and Loki movie though.
No.
But Loki, I imagine, would come up by the end of Phase 6.
Yeah. I think it'd be cool. Like, I don't want like 7 seasons of all these shows. Like, I
No.
think it's cool to have
Well,
them all,
I
but
I
we can't.
love having a short condensed series. I've been loving the 6 episode format. It's a great way to flesh out a character that we haven't seen done a lot in the movies, like
Yeah,
one that hasn't had a lot of focus, but not like losing but and not having like filler episodes that are just boring you. Like having it at, I think that 6 episode arc is a perfect format for Disney Plus. That's very much what I prefer. But we're gonna have more movies coming out. There's the Marvels, which is gonna have Captain Marvel, Miss Marvel, and Monica Rambeau. So at the very least, I don't know who else is gonna be in it. I liked Miss Marvel, or sorry, Captain Marvel. I like Miss Marvel too.
yeah,
So I'm looking forward to that.
yeah.
We got Blade after that, starring Mahershala Ali, who's played Cottonmouth in Netflix's uh Luke Cage, so it's another actor that has played 2 different roles. I have a huge list of those.
Who was Cottonmouth again?
Cottonmouth was the first villain in Luke Cage. They quickly killed him off, and then
Was that
Diamondback
Luke Cage's
joined
like
him.
brother, or is that the guy that had
No,
the? Sorry,
that's
the guy who had Luke Cage. Is that the guy who had the bullet that could penetrate Luke Cage?
that bullet was first. Yeah, Cottonmouth was the first one who like Blades show. This is spoilers for Luke Cage, by the way. If you haven't seen Luke Cage, I recently just rewatched it.
Yeah, you should have
Cottonmouth,
watched Luke Cage 10 years ago.
yeah. Shades showed Cottonmouth a video of Justin Hammer Tech Industries.
Yeah.
I hate people who say this stuff is not set in the MCU. It is. Um, showed him the Judas bullet, which is supposed to penetrate
Someone had
Luke
the
Cage.
drill and
Yeah,
it penetrated him, right? Yeah, that's is that Cottonmouth that shoots him with the bullet
I
or
don't
gets the
think
bullet?
I don't think Cottonmouth shot him.
Okay. It's been a while.
Diamondback may have. Diamondback was his uh brother, I think, or cousin. I can't remember. Um,
Okay.
who was the villain that replaced. Like he was the main villain by the end of the show, but it was pitched that Cottonmouth was going to be, but they've like replaced that.
Yep.
So yeah, but anyway, he's playing Blade in the movie, so
All right.
they've reused that actor. Ironheart is coming out soon after fall 2023.
Yeah.
That's one I'm most looking forward to. I love that character in the comics.
I don't know
So
much about her, but I'm excited for her just because I love like Iron Man suits are like my favorite. Like I
yeah,
love anything like a mechanical mech suit is my favorite.
then you're
So I'm excited.
probably gonna like Ironheart.
Yeah.
Then we're gonna have a show that you're not gonna like. It's Agatha in the Coven of Chaos. They've changed the title. It used to be Agatha in the House of Harkness, so now it's
Yeah.
the Coven of Chaos. I have no idea
Coven
what
of
this
Chaos
is.
sounds better. The Harkness
Yeah,
thing was the main. Actually, I actually now it's just from the just changing the title. I'm like,
now you're
that sounds kind
excited.
of cool. I'm not excited.
Yeah,
I, I'm open to it. I
yeah.
don't like magic that much, but Doctor Strange was really good, and we'll see. We'll see
I
how
have
that
no
goes.
idea what this show's gonna be, so who knows? But
Interesting.
I like Catherine Hahn, so I'm looking forward to
Yeah, I'm just
this
gonna
thing.
be picture like I just picture her on Step Brothers all the time. So it's gonna be so weird seeing
Yeah,
like trying to think of her as a villain when I just
I've
think
seen
of
her a
her as like
lot of stuff, but she's always funny.
I just think of her as the horny housewife on fucking like the cheating, desperate
Yeah.
housewife and Step Brothers. So it's so hard to think of her as a villain. I'm gonna be like, yeah, you just want to, get your rocks off, don't you? Like,
And then we got a surprise announcement: Daredevil Born Again, starring Charlie Cox, returning as Daredevil.
do
So
we know if this is gonna be a continuation or a prequel or something, or
people are
what's going
arguing
on again?
with me on Twitter about it. I will 100% bet that this is a continuation of the Netflix show. You can argue with me all day long. The Netflix shows are canon, and this is a continuation.
That's what
Get
I would
fucked.
hope. I hope for that, and I would agree with that.
Yeah.
To just start it over with the same actor, I'd be like,
Yeah,
why? Like
I don't know
why?
why
Like,
so many people want a fucking reboot, and like I said, it comes down to nobody wants to admit it, but this is the only thing that I can piece together based on the squabbling online. People don't like Iron Fist. and they think that the one bad thing about the Netflix shows, in their eyes, or they haven't watched any of the other stuff. All they've watched is Daredevil. Um, that that they want, like, they're expecting Marvel to cherry pick. They're like, oh, we didn't like Iron Fist, so therefore we're only gonna add Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio in the MCU and fuck everything else. We're starting from scratch. That's not the case, because it makes way more sense to just continue. There's been nothing that conflicted from the Netflix shows to the MCU. It's going to add audience confusion, especially if you're using the same actor for the same role in two different things, and it's been established in the past that that's the MCU. It's part of the MCU before the multiverse was a thing, and now you're going to say, "Oh no, it's a variant. It's a different timeline." When that hasn't been the you know, what they've been doing, what they've been establishing. We haven't seen a live action um story, Marvel Studios story set in a different universe or different timeline. Like, ultimately everything has been revolved around what they're calling now as the 616 timeline.
Yeah.
And I get that the Netflix shows are not Marvel Studios aside from kind of Jessica Jones. But these are shows that were pitched and presented as part of the MCU. A lot of the actors are staying the same. They're using the same characters, same costume design, by the way. There's been a costume leak on Daredevil, and it's the exact same costume. It looks a little bit different in terms of color, but it's the exact same costume. You're going to give audience confusion over that, especially when the show's now on Disney Plus and you're showing it with the rest of the thing, like with the rest of the shows and everything. You're going to intentionally give audience confusion and introduce a different backstory from what we're used to after that. It makes no sense to reboot it now. It
No.
makes more sense to just continue from where why would you want to retell the same story you already have 3 seasons of?
Yeah, no, I agree. It's
Yeah.
the same thing with like Spider-Man and Batman. Like we keep getting reboots of the same thing, and most of it's like his up and coming and how he became
Yeah.
Batman. I'm like, we don't need all that. We already know this. Like we've already seen it.
Yeah.
I know it's cool to see it again or whatever, but like it's just to me
And
like other
some
people don't care enough.
some people make the argument because it's called Born Again, which I get the comics that's from, which
Mhm.
point to an MCU movie that followed a comic directly from the page material and didn't just use the title.
Right.
But that story was kind of told in the 3rd season of Daredevil on Netflix. So what? It's a title.
I
Okay?
just realized how
And
much
it's kind of
right.
significant to, like, they're bringing back Daredevil. I think that title has some significance there. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I think the other argument is they might want to reintroduce a character like Elektra or Bullseye, that they've introduced in the Netflix shows that Marvel Studios themselves didn't get a chance to do in the way that they want.
Right. Yeah, because
But
I'd like to see Elektra in the
here's
MCU
here's the
for sure.
thing. Here's the thing. Like, um, the actor who played Elektra and Bullseye, I think, were both great actors. Both Bullseye's alive. Elektra died off screen in the holding Matt Murdock was as rubble fell on top of them. Matt Murdock's alive. Elektra could still be alive. So there's still that possibility. There's nothing that conflicts with the MCU that gives them a reason to reboot, to have all this headache and audience confusion, when it just makes more sense to continue.
Yeah.
Yeah. So argue
Yeah.
with me all you want online. I don't care. I'm sick of it. Like,
Yeah.
and whenever I post, like, people are like, oh no, it's never been established. It's never been said that way. I'm like, here's an interview. Here's an example. Here's all this. Like, no, but that's facts. You can't give me facts. This is why you're wrong. And I'm like, fuck, forget it.
They
Forget
already
it.
said they already said they're gonna do Punisher again with Frank Castle, right? Because so
No,
far
they
the
never said
Punisher
that.
was. They didn't say that. I thought I
No.
heard that. No.
No, first of all, there's a lot of fake rumors going around from
So them picking up.
there's a lot of Marvel clickbait accounts that are
Oh,
trying
yeah.
to push out. There's nothing confirmed that I've seen about that.
I never click links. I just look at pictures,
Headlines.
and it says like, yeah. I
Yeah,
just
there's
look at
been a lot
headlines.
of that happening the
I
past
don't kind
couple
of read
weeks,
it.
so
So there's no Punisher being picked up by Netflix or by Disney Plus.
not that I'm aware of. No,
That's like
not
the
that I've
most one
seen.
I'm excited for. But like I think Daredevil was the best one done out of all of them. So
Hmm.
using Daredevil and like, oh, we've already seen it with Tom Holland and Spider-Man.
Hmm.
Yeah, let's just continue on. Like it's gonna be
Yeah,
fine. And if they find a way to bring Luke Cage and Jessica Jones
they
and
will.
even Iron Fist in later in
They will.
a good because
I'm like I know like there's nothing out there that says that they will. I am
yeah,
telling you, they will.
yeah.
This is my like I know that that's what's going to happen. There's no reason why it won't.
Bro, if
If
Agatha is now
Agatha
getting her
Coven
if
of Chaos is coming out, we're
yeah.
gonna get fucking Luke Cage and Iron
You'll
Fist
get
back.
yeah, you'll get your Iron Fist eventually. Like once Shang-Chi just like it was massive. It did such a good job with Shang-Chi.
Hmm.
Now, if the MCU could do, when he gets his second movie or Shang-Chi moves on to like, he's got it with other characters and I don't know, the next Avengers will say whatever the like put him in next and it's another blast. Like they're like, well, what if we change Iron Fist a little bit? What if you take Shang-Chi's world and Iron Fist's world and you say that they used to be at war like a long time ago or something? I
Yeah,
don't know.
yes.
You could literally change anything in the MCU to bring Shang-Chi into Iron Fist and maybe you can make Iron Fist better with Shang-Chi. You don't even have to do that.
Shallow and Kunlun were at
Yeah.
war. Yeah,
Maybe
that'd be
they used to
awesome.
be I don't even know if that's even something from comic books. I know
I don't know.
nothing about
Me
either of these
neither.
two places. But if the MCU is like, let's just change it and say that they used to be at war a long time ago,
Hmm.
and now you can bring Iron Fist in. I'm like, boom! Like you just came up with I just came up with a cool idea. I actually think like I'd watch the shit out of that.
Like
That sounds fucking
another reason why I think continuing off from the Iron Fist story makes sense is because a lot of people didn't like because this is a very different character from the comics, but it's because it was sort of like an origin where
yeah.
he's not the same sort of zen calm like in tune with his powers character from the comics because he just left the place that he just leveled up from. He's still a kid. He doesn't know how to control all this stuff, so he's learning. And we see him get there at the teaser at the end of the last season. So that is very much what season 3 was going to be about, was turning him into that character from the comics. Just pick up from there because that's it. You have the Iron Fist you want from continuing that story rather than rebooting him and saying, let's try again. Let's start from the beginning and try again. No, just continue off from where you left off because he's in the perfect place now.
Yeah, yeah. Even if the show like it's weird because like I remember watching Iron Fist
Mm-hmm.
and it's man, when did that come out? Like 2013, 2012, 2014 maybe, like maybe 8 years ago. I remember watching it and being hooked on the whole show and like loving it.
2017.
I'm like, and I was like, it was
Yeah,
2017.
the Netflix shows aren't that long ago. They were
There's
just
no
canceled.
way.
They were just canceled before, like, right after, I think, right when Endgame was happening. I think, because I think the last thing
Daredevil.
was 2019.
Okay.
But they were
Oh
just
wow.
canceled. We just like the Netflix had to hold on to the rights for the
Yeah.
Netflix shows. Like as soon as one show ends, the expiration period for the rights lasted 1 year. So Marvel had to wait 1 year for each of those characters until the final ones, which were I think Punisher and Jessica Jones, were finally done. And now they can start introducing their like once the Daredevil and Kingpin licenses ended, as soon as that happened, that's when they started introducing those characters into the MCU stuff. So again, it's been a waiting game. They had to wait and do all this stuff. They couldn't say they're working on any of this stuff. Those shows just got canceled. It wasn't that long ago. Like people
Yeah.
think it
But
was a long time ago. They're going to be reintroduced.
yeah. Yeah, like I remember watching Iron Fist and being hooked on it and I thought it was
Mm-hmm.
really good. Same thing with Daredevil, Jessica Jones and all that. But Iron Fist I remember like just as easily as I like loved it, like I forgot about it. And like Daredevil, I just still remember being awesome. Luke Cage was
Mm-hmm.
better than I thought it was gonna be. I liked it. Jessica Jones, I loved it.
Mm-hmm.
Uh Defenders I liked, and Punisher's my all-time favorite because I like the violence, I like the gore and shit, so I like the Punisher the most. But I remember Iron Fist, I forgot about it just as easily. I was like, I don't remember what the fuck happens,
Yeah.
and then he was in the Defenders. But I still like the character, and I hope they
Mm-hmm.
bring him back. They don't need to
Yeah.
remake it because I don't want to watch another. I don't want to watch all that again.
Yeah.
Just move him on, and
Yeah.
then make him good.
Yeah,
Like,
introduce him as the Iron Fist. Like he is
yeah,
where he needs to be. Go from there because then you have the character you want. You don't need to worry about establishing backstory. Um, I will say that like going through my rewatch right now, Daredevil and Jessica Jones have been the early seasons have been the ones that I've watched the most. So a lot of that stuff I do remember. A lot of those other ones I've only watched once, so I'm going through them again. I'm like you, I forgot a lot of stuff, so a lot of stuff is surprising me. I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot about this. So like we were watching I was watching Luke Cage with my brother and like, oh, is this character going to do this? I'm like, I don't remember. I'm like, I don't
yeah,
even know who this character I don't even know who they're talking about. Like, and then it happens.
yeah.
I'm like, oh yeah, that's what happens. I forgot. So it's like, I'm like, I think it might go this way, or maybe they're gonna do this. I don't know. So it's funny rewatching those right
Yeah.
now.
I
Uh
have about 10 minutes left, so
oh no. Okay, so let's
I gotta
burn
get ready
through
for.
the
Well,
Comic Con. We got Captain America: New World Order coming out close to my birthday. Yay! And then we got
uh,
Thunderbolts
New World Order, is that gonna be a movie or a show?
movie.
Cool, 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 cool. And
Uh,
that's gonna be we're gonna have Sam is our new Cap.
Sam Wilson, new Captain
Yeah,
America.
Sam Wilson, and I wouldn't mind if Bucky was in it too. That'd be cool.
Might be. He might also be in Thunderbolts. Thunderbolts is that team movie or the team comic I told you about. That's kind of like Suicide Squad. So there we go. It's confirmed.
That's
Um,
unrelated to the guy who shouts.
it's unrelated to the guy that shouts. Yes.
Is his name Thunderbolt? What was his
His
name?
name is Black Bolt. His name
Black Bolt.
his
Okay, I
name
was like
is Blackagar Boltagon. Show him some
Blackagar,
respect.
Blackagar, Boltagon. All right, but Thunderbolts has nothing to do with Black Bolt.
No.
Okay, all right.
Black Bolt is in the Inhumans. Here's Baby Rocket. That's what I'm spoiling for you. Is in the Guardians of the Galaxy teaser.
It's in the Guardians of the Galaxy teaser.
Yeah.
Okay, now in like comic books, does it actually ever explain what Rocket is? Is he like
I think so.
is he a raccoon from Earth that was engineered on, or is he like something that looks like a raccoon from a
I
different?
don't remember this being explained in the Guardians of the Galaxy comics, but I
Yeah,
think in some other comic it is.
because I'm assuming he just looks something like a raccoon, but
Mm-hmm.
technically he's like some other species from a different
Oh,
planet that's very
we
similar.
we will get his backstory in the next Guardians of the Galaxy.
Good, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Then we got a tease for Phase 6. They said it starts with Fantastic Four. That's another lie. We have a movie. We have these empty slots which they're not giving us, so we can kind of predict based on what we know is coming out what's going to fill
Mhm.
these spots. I will say, Spider-Man movie probably not going to be one of these empty spots because Sony does their own thing for releasing stuff. So don't put Spider-Man into one of these blank spots. Let us know what you think it is in the comments because we're not going to have time to talk about it. But we got Avengers The Kang Dynasty coming out,
Yeah.
followed by a couple months later, Avengers Secret Wars. That's crazy. These are the next Avengers movies that we're going to get, and they're not happening until the end of Phase 6.
I'm gonna bet that one of those is Shang-Chi too.
So, yeah, Avengers The Kang Dynasty, pretty much, because it's going to be the same director as Shang-Chi.
Shang-Chi. Yeah, Shang-Chi 2 is definitely gonna be in one of those.
Oh, and the empty
And
spots? Yo, yeah, for
yeah,
sure. Yeah, because we know that's
that's the same.
happening.
And one of those empty spots is gonna be a Shang-Chi 2.
Mm-hmm.
One of them will probably be what else came out? Probably another maybe another Thor
I got a
movie.
list of
Might
stuff.
be two.
You want me to give you a brief list? We don't know what's happening with Armor Wars. They left it out during Comic Con. D23 is
Okay.
coming out, by the way. I don't know if I'm gonna be free for a live stream reaction, but
Yeah.
D23 is coming up, so we're gonna get even more announcements soon. But Armor Wars was left out. We know Armor Wars is in the works. Deadpool 3, X-Men. Apparently, we might be getting another sequel to like another season of Moon Knight. There's
I would love that. They
Patton
deserve it.
Oswalt just leaked out that there's another Eternals movie in the works. We know there's going to be another Shang-Chi movie. We know that there's going to be a Black Panther spin-off series for Disney Plus. They haven't announced that. We know Scarlett Johansson is working on something with Marvel. We don't know what that is. We know Marvel is working on a Wonder Man project. And we can probably expect Young Avengers to happen based on the characters that have been introduced so far in Phase 4. So that's what I've noticed was missing from these announcements. Those are probably in the empty spots there. Um, and yeah, I have the notes right here. Armor Wars Werewolf. I forgot I made this slide. Armor Wars Werewolf by Night was missing. Deadpool 3, X-Men Mutants, Moon Knight sequel, Eternals, and or a Black Knight sequel. That guy at the end of Eternals found that Black Blade.
Right.
That's
Black Knight sequel.
Black
Yeah.
Knight. Yeah, so he's gonna show up somewhere. Shang-Chi sequel, Black Panther Disney Plus series, Wonder Man, Young Avengers, Untitled Scarlett Johansson project. There's probably a Nova project in the work. I think that's been teased. Maybe Ghost Rider. There's at least 2 actors gunning for the position. So yeah, and then we were gonna have our Miss Marvel discussion. Just before you leave, quick thoughts on Miss Marvel because I know you couldn't get through it. I just want to know your thoughts so far because I think that's
My
important.
thoughts on it. I can't even remember where I left off.
That's not good.
Man, I don't remember.
I think
what
they
happened
recapped
last.
the show at the beginning though, so you
Yeah,
should be okay.
they do. Yeah, we'll just watch the recap because then it all hit me and I'll remember. But
Mhm.
I'm assuming I'll see Captain Marvel in it. I'm hoping. I'm hoping it'd be cool to add her into it after she's like our biggest fan or whatever.
Mhm.
And it's probably a stretch, but we were talking about it. I remember saying that I thought that the gauntlet or her, what are those things called? Her bracelets, their
Yeah, Bangle.
bond bangles, kind of look very similar to Shang-Chi,
Mhm.
cosmic energy.
Mhm.
So it would be cool if they sort of tied something into that, like when they said that the rings were communicating with something. I don't know if the bangles are going to do something similar. But that's something. So that's like another thing. Like I think that's kind of why I also don't want to watch it because I have such like high hopes with like the whole Shang-Chi stuff, and I think they might cross over. And if they don't, I'm like, oh, there's like an opportunity there to make it to tie her in more. But
Well, a lot
it'd
of
be
people
cool.
have your same theory, so it's very
Yeah,
possible.
yeah.
Um,
It'd be cool if they add something like that at the end. I'll be excited.
you had a big spoiler uh told to you during a poker game that we were at. I don't know if you
Oh,
remember.
was it that Captain Marvel shows up in it?
No.
No, because I feel like I was like, does Captain Marvel
I'm
show up
I'm
in it?
glad you
I'm
don't
like,
remember, so that way you can watch the show and be surprised. Um,
yeah, I don't
but
remember. I really have no idea. Maybe I'll remember when I see it. But I thought I remember either someone told me that Captain Marvel's in it, or me and Jess were just hoping that Captain Marvel was in it. So, uh, that'll be cool to see her Captain Marvel in it. I can't
I
remember.
just my brief thoughts. I love the show. This is actually, I would say, this is my favorite Disney Plus Marvel show.
Over Loki and
Yeah,
Moon Knight for real.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right.
I liked. I would say like WandaVision was up there. I liked them both for different reasons, but
Yeah.
Miss Marvel was the one I was most looking forward to because I know the character from the comics, and I know what that character is and what to look forward for that character. So when they showed the trailer and everything, I was excited. Again, like you said, the Miss Marvel trailer was fantastic. But this show was very true to the comics. I know a lot of people make a big stink about her powers and everything. I think they work for the MCU. I think it was the right change to make. But the character herself is very much like the comics, and
Yeah.
and the world, like the side characters and her life and everything is very true and what I was expecting, what I got out of it.
Yeah.
I will say Amon Villani is the perfect Miss Marvel. I want to make the comparison. I know it seems weird, but stick with me. I think Robert Downey Jr. is
Yeah.
the perfect actor to portray the role of Tony Stark in the MCU.
Yeah.
I think Amon Villani is Miss Marvel. She's exactly that character from the comics. And even listen to interviews and stuff, like, okay, they found her in real life and they casted her. So yeah, it's amazing. And I like all the changes they made for the show. There is one thing about the show which is a spoiler, so I won't talk about it because Jordan hasn't watched that episode yet. There was one thing that kind of, yeah. There's one part that kind of bothered me with the implications that it makes for the rest of the MCU as a whole, and kind of causes problems. I wrote a script about my thoughts for a video for Spawn Trap, so I might make that video if I have time. but it's a pretty big deal, and it kind of bothers me. Other than that, love the show. What do you, I wanted to talk about like the villains and side characters and stuff like that, but I think we should wait until you watch the whole show.
Yeah,
But
so far I don't care about any of the villains, like all the little people chasing after her with all their powers. I don't care
yeah,
about any of them.
I
Let me finish the show and I'll give you my full thoughts.
yeah.
But that has nothing to do with the actress. I do think she's a really good Miss Marvel because like
Mhm.
I don't really know much about Ms. Marvel other than like I played the Avengers video
Mhm.
game, so I
Mhm.
kind of got a piece of her, her just kind of her personality and stuff,
Yeah,
and she's kind of like a childish but kind of adventurous and fangirl, nerdy, all that. And I think the actress in Ms. Marvel portrays her like you said, like perfectly.
yeah,
Like she's the character. She's really good at it.
yeah.
I enjoy it.
Yeah, we'll go over all that because there's like a lot of stuff I want to break down about the show and what our thoughts are, especially like the villains and everything, because I think that is a weak point in the show for sure.
Yeah.
Um, but we will get to that next time. Jordan has to leave, and we will leave it at that. So, I want to make sure that I'm on the right buttons here.
Did we get through most of what you want to talk about, or
Oh yeah,
what
for
else?
sure. Like the biggest
Okay.
thing is the Comic-Con stuff and the like the stuff that we haven't been able to get through.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that we have that. And like now we have like breathing room for like when She-Hulk comes out. We have much more time to set aside for She-Hulk. So we have those discussions. And that's
Yeah.
going to be a weekly show. So I'm sure that that'll be a slow burn going through
Yeah.
that for sure.
And like even now that we saw the breakdown of them all,
Mhm.
we can touch up and talk about each one
Yeah.
more as more come out, and then as more is revealed, so we
And
can
our
get more into
theories and stuff like that too.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's still really early to see where this whole saga is going. Because if you were gonna tell me like at the beginning, we sort of knew that Thanos was
Hmm.
eventually gonna come in Infinity War because we knew the stones were starting to come into play. We saw Thanos at the beginning of the first Avengers movie.
Yeah.
But we didn't know I wouldn't have known that the Guardians of the Galaxy would have. They didn't really give us that breakdown that the Guardians was going to eventually move over. We didn't know that until like after. Anyways, that's really cool. It's gonna be cool when we see more of this. We kind of see where direction they're going. It's different with Stan Lee not being in the cameos though. Like it's
Yeah, that's a sad thing, but I think we still see like sometimes there's like an image of Stanley. Oh shoot, I just lost you. Um, we sometimes still see an image of Stanley on the screen when they want to pay that homage. So we don't completely like he's not completely gone from that.
right. Yeah.
Um,
You
but
find me yet? There you go.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think we can still expect some Stan Lee cameos and like a picture of him or something or a
Right.
name in the background. So, yeah, they'll start to still try to do that when they can.
Yeah.
I will end by saying we are looking at increasing our cast. So, specifically for Hit Pause, because we want to try to get these podcasts out there more often, especially when series are out, like She-Hulk, where we need to talk about every episode. So I'm hoping to get these podcasts up on YouTube quicker. I'm hoping to make them shorter. So hopefully get them more often and more condensed topics where we can focus on episode by episode kind of breakdowns. So not going to make an announcement on who that might be yet. So I will announce them as they appear on the podcast. So look forward to that. But yeah.
Do you have anybody reach out yet?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
Anybody I know, or just some of your followers?
Probably not. I don't. I will leave it for the next podcast, or I will mention off stream. But anyways, thanks for sticking around. Let us know about your thoughts on the Phase 5, Phase 6 announcements. If you think I'm crazy and the Netflix shows are not part of the canon, you can argue with me in the comments too. But we will keep discussing that in a future podcast for sure. Thanks for joining me, Jordan.
Yeah.
Hope you get that keyboard clean.
Yeah, no, I've got so much dust on it. This is the first time I've seen it with so much light in the room. I was like, oh, that's pretty dusty.
We'll see you next time. Bye.
See ya.